March Madness is finally just around the corner, and that means it's time to fill out some brackets. Wait, sorry, 1 second. It's canceled? You're sure? Son of a bitch. So, March Madness is canceled, which is honestly for the best. But that doesn't mean we can't fill out these brackets, and over the next few weeks, that's just what we're going to do. Best logos in pro sports style, because this is Casual Friday, where I don't take myself too seriously, and hope that the comments section doesn't either. The way I've decided to do this is to do one video for each league, and then a last video for the Final Four. So in order to get it down to a final 16, I've limited it to my favorite 16 logos from each league, and then within each league, just seeded it randomly. So then as far as where to start, well, March Madness is usually about basketball, even if it is college, so let's start with the NBA. Oh, and to keep it fair, this is going to be primary logos only for every league. First up, we have Atlanta vs. Denver, and honestly, I really like both of these logos. But I just like Atlanta's a little bit better. It just seems a little cleaner and classic looking without seeming outdated, plus I just like bird logos. Next, Toronto vs. Minnesota, and I really like the raptor claw marks through the basketball, but I just like Minnesota's colors way more, and it's still a pretty good logo, so I'm going Minnesota. Next, we have two pretty classic logos in the Lakers and the Knicks, but for me, one of these logos just looks outdated even if it does have a ton of history behind it, so for that reason, I'm picking the Knicks. Down in Florida with Orlando versus Miami, even though I do prefer Orlando's colors, I tend to not like too much text in a logo unless it's really well done, and that's the problem with Orlando's, where Miami's just looks a lot cleaner, so I'm going Miami. Bucks vs. Bulls, once again, this is going to kind of come down to too much text in the logo. If it was just the Bull, this would be an easy decision for me, but I'm probably going to upset a lot of people with this one. I'm going to pick the Bucks because, once again, I like the colors better, and the text is way more understated. With Grizzlies Wizards, I am a big fan of the circle logo with the names around the outside, but the Grizzly for Memphis is incredibly well designed, and even if I do wish they had stuck with Vancouver's colors, this is still a better logo. With New Orleans versus Carolina, I don't know that there's a logo in the league that has a better feel for the city that it represents than the Pelicans logo. But the Hornets logo is also very well designed, and I'm a sucker for original color schemes, so we're going Carolina. Philadelphia and Sacramento, I like the Mountain Crown, we're going Sacramento. Alright, starting off round 2, Atlanta versus Minnesota, and while I still do think Minnesota has my favorite colors in the NBA, there's something about the sleek simplicity of Atlanta's logo that I just can't get over, so we're going with the Hawks. The Knicks logo is a perfect example of what I mean by text in a logo done right. That, with its classic feel, means that it's moving on to the Sweet 16. With the Bucks and the Grizzlies, once again I like the Bucks colors better in this matchup, and if they just stuck with the Buck, this would be an easy decision. But the weird circle underneath kind of weighs it down too much for me, so I'm going with the Grizzlies. Between Sacramento and Charlotte, there's a lot of purple in these logos, which at this point you might be surprised to learn is not my favorite color. But I still really like the Hornet, so we're going with Charlotte. Alright, that means we are on to the Sweet 16 round and the Final Four for the NBA. And to start it off, Atlanta versus New York. Purple may not be my favorite color, but birds are my favorite animal. And a text logo, even as well designed as the Knicks is not going to beat out a well-designed object logo. With Charlotte versus Memphis, both of these logos are incredibly well designed, so for me, this one's going to come down to colors. And since the Hornets have the most unique colors in the NBA, they're moving on to the Elite Eight. That leaves us with a final of Hornets versus Hawks, two of the most storied franchises in all of the NBA. To go back to the beginning, I did say this was going to be primary logos only. And again, while I do like the words around the outside style, I still think that text can clutter up a logo. And to me, simplicity is key in a well-designed logo. So if the Atlanta Hawks had just the hawk part on the inside as their primary logo, this would be an easy decision. But since that isn't their primary logo, and even though there is text in the middle of the Hornets logo, it's still very well designed. Plus, I get bored of a sports world dominated by blue and red and black as colors, so I have a big appreciation for a team that has colors of purple and teal. And for those reasons, the NBA champion and best logo in the NBA goes to the Charlotte Hornets. And look, I don't expect a lot of you to agree with me on this, but who knows, maybe this will cheer MJ up, seeing his team finally back on top, because, let's be honest, it's not going to happen on the court anytime soon. Alright, that is it for this episode of Casual Friday. If you liked what you saw or didn't, there's buttons for that down there. If you want to see who wins the other 3 leagues and wins the whole thing altogether, there's a button that'll let you know about that down there as well. And if you do want to yell at me and take me too seriously, there's a whole section of that for you down there as well. Without anything further to do, once again, stay safe out there, and we'll see you later. Peace.